So in terms of what we did overall on programmatic and audience-based buying, we took a step about 2 years ago by actually moving our programmatic teams back into the brands. So they're closer to clients, they're closer to the teams that are actually planning and purchasing the rest of our media. We think by doing that, our programmatic teams are more integrated, have a better idea of what the client's really trying to deliver. So we've done it across all digital and all programmatic, and it's been, so far, extremely successful. Our spend is up, our client satisfaction is up. We think it's a much better model for us versus the centralized trades desk. Well, I would say the biggest change has been, probably the single biggest thing around really data-informed video has actually been around VOD. I think we're seeing, the advent of really binge watching of television. If you look at trends, binging has become such a large part of our just general media needs that clients are seeing the value of VOD and people watching 6 and 7 shows. What it allows them to do creatively, the value exchange for the consumer of, hey, I really want to catch up on this program, not minding the commercial load, since it's actually something that, hey, I understand they're bringing this to me. The transaction between the consumer and the advertiser has been really strong. I think when we're starting looking at, from an overall TV perspective, allowing our video partners to put some of our inventory or a lot of our inventory onto a VOD product. You start looking at TV levels going down and ratings going down, and the challenge of that, where VOD is moving in completely the right direction. And I think I start looking at the ability to insert dynamically has really been improved. I think the biggest change for us over the next 12 months is certainly doing a lot on programmatic video and certainly the value of that. But I think the biggest step change is going to be around VOD, the ability that we're able to dynamically insert ads for clients around geography, around targeting, and on an addressable way also. So it's a really powerful idea for us. I think it's probably our biggest change over the next 12 months. When I say programmatic TV, I say data-informed television. We've always had data-informed television. I think that we sometimes use this word. We've always used data to hopefully make good TV decisions. That hasn't changed today versus 10 years ago even. What we have today now is a huge amount more data, and it allows us to transact things differently. But still, a number of our transactions are still happening the same way we've always transacted business, on age and sex and demo. And certainly what we're looking from a addressable and really a precision video is still a long ways from having true scale. At our agency, we're spending almost $10 billion on what we consider traditional television. The amount of money being spent on addressable is 1 or 2% of that. So until that changes, and the availability from the network side to really take an addressable TV, we have some time to learn. It's going to be a curve. It's going to be a very fast increase, but we're still a couple of years away. Certainly on the cable side, they're allowing us to insert more than we would. What Verizon and a Comcast are able to do from a insertion basis versus even a year ago versus 2 years ago is tremendously different. I think one of the challenges is how the direct TVs and dishes of the world, how they look to optimize their inventory. They need to do that in a biddable platform, how that's going to work. How is it more, in terms of less friction right now? The cost for us and the amount of friction points for us to buy addressable still is very high. It's a very manual process. As that gets easier, that's one part of scale. And then on the second side of that, the second option of really doing things more IP-based, it's a huge opportunity for us. And I certainly hope that, I think that will leap past the traditional, funny to say that, traditional addressable, but in terms of that, the cable side business versus the IP-based business. So certainly see that as both strong, but as we fast forward a couple of years, I do see the IP solution being a larger solution for us. About networks need the inventory we have right now just to make good on their already deals that they're stressing on. We have networks have to turn back money because they don't have an ability on even a national basis. There just isn't a scalable, there is not enough scale, especially on some of these niche targets. And the challenge is, if it's not a niche target and it doesn't make sense from a financial item. So we have a client that is buying 25 to 50-year-old women as a very broad-based client. The value of precision, like, why am I going to pay triple the price? I'm doing very well in the current model. So I think it's a combination of the pricing coming down for there, or finding enough clients, which niche, which creative that really makes sense from a price standpoint. On programmatic is more results-based. I mean, we'd buy CPA for everything else. Why can't we do that for this? If that's a cost per lead on a auto that we're able to measure test drives, we're getting closer to that. I think we're start looking at our media mix models, start looking at the attribution and all those different attribution machines. These are things that we really would love to do more attribution for, and really be able to say, here's the ROI for this, here's the attribution, here's what drove to that, and we're not as close as we would like to be. I think that this year, coming off of the upfronts and new fronts, I think what I've really seen is a push for these content solutions and say we have these great top-to-top meetings, and we meet with all these different vendors and really strong presentations, but it's about how you need to produce content for their platform. And I can see a client that spends $50, $100 million, very large clients in the US, and certainly there are billion-dollar clients, but still $50 or $100 million, and you're telling me I need to do 14 different varieties of creative for these 14 different partners, and even inside those partners, I even have more varieties. And I think you have an issue with the amount of creative content and firepower necessary. Are we ready to scale in that way from a creative agency standpoint, from a communications agency standpoint? And is it realistic to think about the media spends and what type of creative we need to do for that? And then coupled with the fact that now we have all this data that gets laid on top of it. It's a very challenging world. I think we need to find as agencies, and as we start making some of these people work together. I think the need for competitors to work together, if it's us with other agencies who are selling data and technology solutions, is it with our clients that are competitors? Is it with media vendors that we talk about some of these large digital scales? Do they work together on these? So it's not like we're recreating a wheel 14 different times. I think the need for us to work together in a more holistic way is really important. The word competitor needs to be a lot different. Where do we start finding commonality? Where do we start finding the ability to scale is going to be a real win for the industry. So I hope to see people that are competitors today in meetings tomorrow in a very meaningful way, not just saying it. And that's us with our agency competitors. That's certainly some of these social and digital distribution partners working together versus hey, this is my way I do it. It's what you need to do for me. It's what we need for our industry. It would be really nice to see.